Pro Bs, once again, remember, smash that subscribe button. And I'm delighted to be joined by the trainer of Billy Joe Saunders, Mr. Mark Tibbs. How are you?
Lovely, thanks, Pro Bs. Yourself? You all right?
I'm doing well, man. I just wanted to hear that accent, that Cockney accent once more. That's why I had to hit you up. What's happening? You've been ticking over?
Well, I've just, I've got back out of that bubble with Billy Joe's last fight against Murray, and I've got some work going on at home in the house. So been dealing with that under the circumstances. It's difficult getting builders in, but I've done the best I can to get ready for Christmas. But I've just finished a gym session with the boys, met all up with them at Origin Gym in Rainham in Essex, where I've got my base. And done a bit. Some of the boys have done a bit of sparring, and Billy Joe's had a good workout. He's keeping on top of his game now. So we just getting ready for Christmas now. What we can do anyway. What we can, under the circumstances.
Right, Billy Joe training just before Christmas. Focus, real focus. What's the whole moment? Yeah.
Well, no, he's kept in the gym. This ain't our, since we've been out of since the Murray fight, he's been down there a couple of times. So and he's been doing his own bits and pieces up where he lives. So he's keeping himself in check, and that's what we need to do before we go into training camp.
You mentioned that he's ticking over just before Christmas. Is that in view of watching Canelo against Callum Smith? Does he feel like, hold on a minute, that should have been my grand stage? Is that why? Is that what's pushing him at the moment in the gym?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I ain't spoke to him about his thoughts on it, but just looking from the outside, no, he's. I'm sure he realises, he's at a stage now. Well, he's been told he's at a stage now where, he can't keep going into training camp, too out of shape. You know what I mean? Too big. So he understands, and he is maturing. He's maturing. He's very strong now. He's very, very strong. And although he's the most slickest, one of the slickest, bestest boxers in the world, he's also can have it on the inside. He's rough and he's tough, but he's cute with it. And that's because his body's matured it properly into a man. You know what I mean? And he is an all-rounder. He's an all-rounder, but his IQ is his best asset. Yeah.
We've got to talk about the weight class at super middle. Obviously, Billy Joe rated as a WBO super middleweight champion, but Canelo's just picked up the WBA and WBC title against Callum Smith. What did you make of the result?
Well, I ain't watched it, to tell you the truth. I'm going to be honest with you. I've seen some highlights, and Canelo is a pound for pound, best out there as well. But he's never met a Billy Joe Saunders, and Billy Joe Saunders is, if he keeps his consistency in out of training camp, he's going to find magic that he never knew he had. You know what I mean? And that's all up to him at the end of the day. And he's playing the game. He's playing the game, and he's a winner. His IQ is like on the levels of Floyd Mayweather, people like that. But he's just got to be consistent with it, and he's got to be out there and look after himself. And I believe he's doing that. He's doing that since I've been involved with him. He's always been a good trainer. He's always been since my dad trained him, I've never not known him not to prepare well, not to prepare well. Do you know what I mean? And he just blows up a little bit outside of training camp, and but he ain't blown up this time. He looks well. He looks well.
You're talking about prepare well.
Going back to the Canelo fight, I never saw it. I was a bit surprised. What I've been told of it, I'm a bit surprised Smith fought the way he fought. I hear he was a little bit tentative on the back foot, a bit cautious. And I feel that, just going on what people have told me, I feel that you know, it was a little bit like a rabbit in the headlights. I don't know, but you tell me, Pro B. You watched it. I guess you did.
Yes, I watched it.
Yeah. What do you think?
Difficult. I mean, Callum gave it all he could on the night. It just looked like, you know, Canelo, he's at the top of his game, you know, and there is no shame losing to Canelo, whoever you are. There is no shame. That is like the number one name in boxing. So it's, you know, it's hard to kind of, you know, comment on things like that because he is that good.
Yeah, of course.
You're not talking about, you know, the average Joe fighter here.
Yeah, no, of course. I understand what you're saying. He's a phenomenal all-round fighter. I think he's been boxing as a pro since he was 17 years old. It's in his blood. I mean, he can, thinking about it stylistically, I mean, Canelo against a long, tall, rangy technician, yeah? If he's in that eye of the storm, if so to speak, if you know what I mean, if he's in the eye of the storm, Canelo is so experienced and would be so confident. His safest place for him to be is probably in the eye of the storm instead of on the end and in the storm. You get me? So I hear he rode shots and he slipped and he was very offensive in doing that in the eye of the storm, if you know what I mean. So credit to him, and he's a real pro for sure, and he's got a good team around him. But I really believe that Billy Joe Saunders, he's never met a Billy Joe Saunders, and Billy Joe Saunders is, I can guarantee he will raise his game when he's up against it. Always. He always has done, and he always will. And I'm not too sure what's happening with Billy Joe and that fight. I know he's called out for it. I really don't know what's going on, what MTK have got planned for him, and what Matchroom USA have got planned for him. I don't know just yet.
It's interesting that you mentioned that Billy Joe's been in the gym today, you know, ticking over, keeping iron sharpened, as it were. Canelo is known, right, for giving a fighter very short notice to fight him. Is that kind of the idea of Billy Joe, to keep ticking over just in case, you know, the fight gets agreed and that he's not caught out by any chance?
Well, I guess it could be because you know, Billy Joe will always want a fair playing field. You know what I mean? If you know what I'm saying, he won't have nothing sprung on him, and rightly so. He's champion of the world, remember, as well. You know what I mean? He's a two-time weight world champion as well. So you know, he's a good businessman, and he's a genius boxer, and he knows what goes on, if you know what I'm saying. So he's staying on top of his game. But yeah, it's good, really nice to see his face nice and taut, and you know, not bloated, and you know, and him just ticking over. We ain't going mental, but he's doing something, you know. And if he's doing something physically, he must be whatever he's eating is he's got to be good as well, like as in like clean. So he wouldn't look like he looks otherwise, if you know what I mean.
Could we say that Callum Smith was totally like kind of disadvantaged because, you know, officially he was given 1 month's notice. He's a big super middle. He's got to really kind of make the weight, all right, number one. And number two as well, in terms of preparation, you are preparing for like the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. Surely some would say that, you know, the margins of preparation were slightly not in his favor before the fight actually took place.
Yeah, well, listen, Joe Gallagher is a very thorough trainer coach. You know, he's been around a long time. I'm not too sure if that. I don't know if they had 4 or 5 weeks notice. I mean, you know, was there business being done? You know, was people ticking? Was Callum ticking over? I don't know. We weren't around that camp. But if he only had 4 or 5 weeks, you say, preparation, it's not a great place to be to prepare for a fight of that scale, of that magnitude in 5 weeks. You know what I'm saying? But well, I don't know. I wasn't in the gym. I don't know. I didn't hear about you know, if he was ticking over or if they was preparing this fight. But in these times, these challenging times of in this COVID business, it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult, and you know, people have thrown deals, as in fights, and I don't know if he took it, you know, if he took it on that basis. I don't know, but I just thought that Callum Smith and his team, Joe Gallagher, are a bit too smart to rush preparation and take the fight at that short notice. I don't really know. I've heard that's what's happened, but I don't know.
Are you kind of preparing yourself for kind of being up against it in terms of you probably get short notice, all right? Number one. Number two as well, look, Canelo himself, you know, how can I put it? He's the type of fighter where you can't just expect to nick the fight. You know, you've got to do something really outstanding to get the victory. Is that sort of crossed your mind that, look, we take the fight, we get ready, and we're going to have to put on a David Lemieux type of performance. We're going to have to put on a masterclass to really rip those two titles away from Canelo Alvarez?
Well, that's always my mindset anyway. You know, as a coach anyway. I don't just want to get by. I don't just want to scrape by. You know what I mean? And Billy Joe Saunders is leading the way, and he's like I say, he's a genius, masterful boxer, and he can punch a bit as well. And you know, on the level of Canelo Alvarez, it's going to be a witty. Is that the right word? Wit, you know, outwit each other. And Billy Joe Saunders, I'm very confident he can outwit and outgrit, you know, and he's going to have the engine to do what he needs to do to get a win. I'm very, very confident of that. And he's got the IQ as well as Canelo Alvarez. They've both got IQs because they've been in the game so long and been around. It's in their blood. But, you know, it's a big fight, you know. So we'll see what happens in the near future.
You feel like you have to stop Canelo Alvarez? I mean, this is a guy that doesn't really get hurt and he don't get knocked out. It's wow. Do you feel like you might have to even try and stop him?
Well, you know, we're going in battles to box out of our skin. You know, he's got to box out of his skin, Billy Joe Saunders. He's got to raise his game and box out of his skin. And like I said before, when and if he's up against anyone like that, like he was with the Lemieux, I wasn't involved with him then, but you know, he felt he was up against it, so he was on tenterhook, so to speak, and he boxed and fought out of his skin, and he will need to pull up another delivery of performance like that again, for sure he would. But I'm confident he can, and he will. If it comes off.
Just before you indulge in your Christmas turkey, do you start studying Canelo more and more to put together, to write that sort of manuscript about the game plan of how to defeat Canelo? Does that kind of start now before any fight even gets made?
Yeah, well, I mean, fighters like Canelo and all fighters, you know, I study all styles and fighters and their levels of thinking. You know, that's what we do as coaches. You know, we go deep. Or I do anyway. But so I'm always I'm always on all them big fighters and that. But as I said, I feel bad saying that because I ain't watched the Canelo fight, because coming out of the bubble and going into my house where it's just being kind of redeveloped a little bit, and I've just about got a TV on the wall for Christmas for the young lad. Yeah, but no, I will catch up with that fight and all the boxing stuff over the next few days, and that's what I do for my enjoyment. Yeah, I'll catch up.
Just to kind of conclude, Mark, before I let you go, there were sort of talks about Demetrius Andrade moving up to fight Billy Joe, or maybe Billy Joe moving down. Is there any truth in that? Would he take that fight before Canelo?
Well, I've seen the. You know, when I see Billy in training and that, we don't. I've heard the boys talk about Andrade in the gym and that, but you know, until things are nailed down, you know, I do look at the landscape, but until things are nailed down, I don't really talk about it until the talks are getting serious. If you know what I mean.
Wise man, wise man. All right, Mark. I'm gonna let you enjoy your Christmas. Let you pull a few crackers.
Listen, yeah, have a good one. I ain't pulled a few crackers for a long time.
I tell you, Tier 4 is going to make me go crackers, you know.
Oh no, I know. It's brilliant what the big boxing promoters are doing in keeping our sport, what we love, alive. So hats off to all of them, and it's really, we're very, very lucky, very lucky to be doing what we're doing. But also, it's a real shame what's going on. I can't believe it, really. And where I'm busy with the gym and I've been busy with Billy Joe and whatnot, I've kind of not watched the news too much. But now, over the last few days watching it, it's very, very horrible what's going on. And can't make head nor tail of it, really. But I've had a few people around me that have been affected by it, or I've heard of people around me, so it's kind of coming close. I was a bit sceptical about it before, but we'll see. We just got to play the game and stay safe and keep well and eat and drink your lemons. They're good for you. Vitamin C. I'm telling you. Immune system. Feed your immune system. Because a lot of people have had it, you know, around me. A lot of people have had it, and I've got the blame for spreading it. But I've had the COVID test recently, and we're tested very, very regularly because of the sport we're in. And please, God, touch wood, you know, thank God, I should say, I've not had it and never had it. And but many people around me have, and but they've been all right. They've just been normal. I didn't even know they had it. So that's what makes you think, what's it all about? But we've got to keep well and stay safe, all of us.
Stay safe. And if the 3 words from the government: hands, face, space.
Hands, safe, space. That's it. Lovely.
All right, Mark. Thanks for your time. Pep Talk.
Thank you, sir. Take care. Thank you.
Mark Tibbs.
Well
thank
done.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Subscribe.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
Bye.